Thank you, Ibis and Alexis, for inviting us to talk here today. We normally present our solutions to different audiences, but since you're here today in this audience, we think of a slightly different way to present our solution. Vilborg, can you please? So the question is, what is InfoMentor? If you can imagine the back label of a bottle of wine, this is what would be on the bottle of wine.
This is expensive.
Top level. We will get back to this, and especially the part here where it says was born, has matured, and will evolve around the landscapes of the national curriculums, because the headline of our presentation is focus on curriculums for higher ROE.
But this is our mission, that is helping schools to help all pupils to reach their goals. That's why we wake up in the morning. That's the main thing with our solution. We have been working with this for a long time. I first started the company actually in 1990 in Iceland. In 2007 we merged with a Swedish company, and that was a great thing to do, because now we are working in different countries. We are taking the knowledge from Sweden into our solution. Also working in Germany, Switzerland, and UK. We are altogether 55 professionals, and as I say, we are market leaders in Sweden and Iceland, and we are taking the first steps into Italy and Spain this year, so it's quite exciting times. If we continue, this is our solution. We have 1,300 schools as customers, and you're just seeing how it looks like for students. We are bringing the schools to the parents, to the pupils, and what is unique is that we are, as I say, gathering the knowledge from different countries, and so we can adapt to different curriculums. Here you can see that the students can see the tasks, they can see their goals, they can have the news from the schools, and so we are really bringing learning into the homes. But this is done without an extra effort from the teachers. They are doing this every day, and without an extra effort, they bring this information to the parents and to the pupils. We are one of the biggest online solutions in Iceland, where we practically have all parents logging into the system and all pupils. And we are building our solution on the newest technology, meaning that it's fully responsive and can work on every device.
We will now go into explain why we think it's so important to focus on curriculums. So can you, so ever since we started, it has been about how can we focus on what is actually the meaning and the task for the teachers to carry on and pass on to the students. And now we're going to show you a bit more about why this is so important. And this ties into Dr. Christensen's speech before, because it's about the quality of data, and that data is in line with what is actually supposed to be the task and assignment.
It is also, well, it is really about what kind of skills, like Charles came into in the morning, what kinds of skills will people need, young people need in 2025. It's all about that. And that's why, and if we think about what kind of skills do they need, for example, communication, of course, technology, creative thinking, innovation, and it is really about competitive advantage of nations. I was in Berlin this week. I was attending a conference, the yearly conference of German industries, and there Angela Merkel made her speech, and this was one of her main topics. It is about what kind of skills does Germany need to be successful in the future. It's not only Germany, this is happening all over the world. Those are just few examples of countries that are currently working on creating a new curriculum or implementing a new curriculum, or have already published a new curriculum. For example, Switzerland is coming out with a new curriculum next year. Germany is working on this. We have a new curriculum in Iceland, and so on. I will take examples of that later on. So it is it's a huge thing. Our software or solution is built in kind of different way. If we say this is usually the structure of systems that we are competing with, where they have communication in the center, and then they build different modules around communication. Our structure is like this, where we have the curriculum in the heart of the system. This is extremely important, and this is what we really believe in. And then we build different modules around the curriculum.
So we will now show you a couple of examples of solutions or modules in our analytics tool. And before we go on to that, I would just like to comment one thing that was in the news here in the UK yesterday. I don't know if you read that Ofsted, the school inspection authority here in the UK, they have noticed that 65% of the high-attaining pupils in primary schools, when they go on to secondary level, they do not get on to be A-level pupils. And it's strange that it would take an Ofsted authority to spot that. Then another important thing, looking at what we will present now, is I don't know if you've heard about the Hattie report. Hattie is a a research person from New Zealand. He has made one of the biggest meta-analysis on education and what really matters when it comes to improved learning. And amongst the top-ranked things that really affect learning is schools and teachers reflecting on their own activities, what they do and how they do it. So I repeat it again, one of the top-ranked things that affect learning, that is schools and teachers reflecting on what they do and how they do it. So in the system that we have, of course, it's teachers primarily marking and assessing students, but it's also about pupils and parents putting information into the system. And based on those activities, that marking and gathering of data, we can do things on different levels, all the way from pupils up to nations, where Vilborg will explain a bit more about that later on. But can you hang on one more second there? Thank you. It is about prognosis and forecasts. In education, it's been historically that we focus on the results at the end. But these tools help teachers and schools to reflect what's happening right now in the process, during the process. So what you see here is it's not grading. This is the students' performance on different quality levels in one subject, which is athletics and health, in year 5 in a Swedish school. So with this, you can see this is all the boys and all the girls in this school. And when you use this and then break it down to each and every class, of course you get a tool to see what's going on, and then you can compare this what will happen later on. So it's a tool for comparing, analyzing, and then improving. And you take the next one, just to get a flavor of it before I show you something special. This is in year 5, the last 3 terms in math, and it's math, history, and English. So you can see the progress that the pupils are doing in English, but you can also see that over time, more students actually have harder problems than they had in the first place. So why is that going on? and what can we do about it? So these are examples where you can see at the point of learning what's happening, and then you can discuss how we can improve. So this is a strong tool for head teachers to discuss with teachers, and of course a strong tool for teachers to reflect themselves. So this is not the big data that Dr. Christensen was talking about. This is more on a concrete level, but it's also important to understand that this is based on teachers' assessments according to a curriculum. Next one, please. And are you ready now? For here comes a really sharp tool. You think you can handle it? It won't look very sexy, but it's a really sharp tool to improve learning. So this is the 5 goals that most pupils need support in year 5 in math. So that the 5 goals ranked, and to the right you can see it's 17 students for the top 2 ones. And if you take the next one, please. So just to give you a flavor of what one goal can be. And you know, with this type of list, we can really discuss what methods should we use to help the students next term to improve on these things that they obviously are struggling with, because that's what we found out when we assess the students. And one more second. If you bring this one up to a local authority level, this is all the students in year 5. Then you can break it down to each and every class, and you can look at boys and girls. But if you bring this up on a local authority level, which you can do in our tool, of course this is a base to discuss what training should we put our teachers in. So there have been a discussion during the day about that we have to show evidence that the tools that we supply in the EdTech industry actually make a difference. This is an example from one municipality or local authority in Sweden. It's quite a small one, but still, they have been using tools like this since they introduced InfoMentor in 2009. Together with other measures, of course, but being focused on following each and every class, each and every student. You know, when you see the aggregate on an organization level, that will help you also spot the single student. So they have improved their grade point average with 13% since 2009. And it's not only one odd thing, it's a trend going on, and they can see it now over 3 or 4 years.
Little geography, this is Iceland, and here we have the big glaciers, the biggest glacier in Europe. But what's happening here in this country is that the Minister of Education is implementing a new curriculum. And it's a huge project, because it's really a paradigm shifting how teachers, how pupils, how parents think about education. And it's not done in 1 week in August. It's a period of many years that it takes, because it is about the paradigm shift. We are now working together with the ministry, and of course it is great to have, in our situation, we have like a pilot country to work with, because we basically have the whole of Iceland. We have all the primary schools, quite many play schools that we are working with, and municipalities, and then on the governmental level. So what we do is, together with the ministry, is to decide how actually can they take the curriculum into a practical things where the teachers start to work with it on a daily basis. And because we have the statistic, we have all schools, all teachers, all pupils and parents using it, we can provide data on a school level, on a trust level, on a pupil level, also municipality, and then in a country level. And looking at the one country, using the tools that we are just showing a little bit of an example using the goals, but it's extremely powerful. We can start to see what's happening in the north of the country compared to the south, what's happening in Westfjords, what's happening with boys and girls, and so on, and compare different data, attendance, grades, and so on. So that is extremely interesting project. I wish I could meet you again in like 4 years and tell you, of course it takes time. But we are today also working with them on this. So, if we continue, it is about what we are really doing is helping Europe to take learning to the next level. We are playing a little bit with the game language. So that's our daily business.
And as we pointed out, this is our mission. And just to sum it all up and show you how extremely important it is to focus on goals, we would like to show you this clip. I don't know if you've seen it before, but it's really gives you a message.